conferences, retreats, festivals, trade shows. There are a million things happening for crochet business owners right now, for crocheters, for crochet business owners, for fiber business owners. And my inbox is filled with invitations to in-person events this year. So I have a feeling you might be feeling the same. So I thought we would talk about how to go through the different types of events that are happening and the individual events that are happening to determine which place is right for you this year. So depending on your goals and your personality and where you are in your business, what event is right for you and how can you make the most of it? So let's chat. Welcome to Crochet Business Chat. My name is Pam Grice, the Crochetpreneur. I am on a mission to help 100,000 makers build financial freedom through crochet, and I'm so happy that you're here today. So we are going to be talking about events, as you know, and I don't want to just talk your ear off about my thing, but as you know, I'm hosting the Increased Crochet Business Summit live in April. That means it's coming up in 2 months. And I want you there. I want to meet you. I want to talk with you. I want to answer your questions about your business. I want to help you grow. I want to help you gain momentum. I want to connect. I want to connect you with other people who can help you grow your business. And I want to introduce you to your new biz bestie, your new lifelong friends who are you're going to find in the crochet industry. So I want you to come, but it may not be right for you depending on where you are in your business right now. So I think it's important to talk about all of the different availability there is for getting together with crochet business owners. Now, I am not specifically going to be talking about local yarn store events because A, typically those are for knitters, sadly, and B, you can go to those anytime, right? So that's a totally different animal. And I'm also not necessarily going to be talking about fiber festivals because fiber festivals are about the yarn. So they're not about the craft so much, and they're not about the business almost at all. So we're not going to be talking about fiber festivals. We're specifically talking about retreats, conferences, and trade shows. So those are the typically different kind of events that are going to at least have a little bit of content specifically for business owners. So I did create some reminders for myself in these banners. So the question is, what room should you be in? And again, we're going to be talking about retreats, conferences, and trade shows. So there are a few things that you need to think about as you're considering what event you want to attend. So yesterday, before we started recording this, yesterday, I sent out a thing to my list and said, hey, if you're going to come to Crochet Business Chat, consider what would be your goals, both your goals for your business for the year, and then also, what would be your goals of going to an in-person event? You may have different goals. Your goals might be to connect with wholesalers, to connect with local yarn stores, to connect with manufacturers. Then you want to go to trade shows, right? Your goals might be to learn strategies to grow your business or to connect with other people who are in your industry. Then a conference, a targeted niche conference would probably be better. Or if your goal is, I just want to chill and crochet, well, then a retreat's probably where you want to go. And that's like the basic breakdown. But there are other things we need to think about. As we take a look at the goals, let's take a look at some other characteristics of these events and break them down a little bit more. So the first one is target audience size. How many people are going to be there and what are you comfortable with? Some people just want intimate groups. So I am an introvert. I'm a little bit socially awkward. I appreciate small groups. I want to get to know a small group of people, hang out with them the whole time, or at least have them as a safe place to go to if I start getting overwhelmed in a big crowd. So for me, retreats are great, but they don't usually meet my goals of wanting to move my business forward. So I have found niched conferences to be a great place for me, because I can connect with a small group of friends who are like-minded, who are moving in the same direction, who have great ideas and strategies. And those are the people I want to hang out with. And then you might be an extrovert and you might love large conferences. So there is the Craftcation conference that's coming up, that they have 200 sessions. So of those 200 sessions, there are going to be hundreds and hundreds of makers there. So not just crocheters, other kinds of crafters. And it's not just about business, it is also about crafting. So they have some business classes and lots of crafting classes. So, but if that's what you're into and that's what you want to do, it's going to be a large conference. Same with H&H America's coming up. That's going to be a very large conference. Last year they had over 2,500 people. This year I think they're aiming for closer to 3,000 people. So if you like the energy of large groups, then those larger conferences or trade shows are going to be your jam. Now, I'm going to be at both kinds of things this year. And, I have to put some strategies in place of how to take care of myself in a huge conference, a huge trade show. It will be interesting to see how it goes. Okay, the next one to think about is content and focus. What are they teaching about? Looking at your goals, whatever your goals are, is that the same as the goals for this event? Now, retreats, their content and focus is going to be more about fun, relaxing. So lots of crafting, lots of, time to just hang out, maybe hanging out by a pool, or maybe getting massages, or maybe going shopping, and those kinds of things. Whereas a conference is going to be very much more focused on networking, classes, learning things, implementing things, networking, connecting with people who can move your business forward. So that's a different vibe, right? A different focus, different content that you're going to get. And then at a trade show, you're going to get a little bit of all of that, I suspect. It's just going to be kind of like a conference totally on steroids. So there's going to be a lot of things to choose from. So if you like to go to one kind of thing and then another kind of thing and then a different kind of thing, then that larger conference is going to be for you, because it just offers so many different options. And a little bit, we're going to talk about the pricing of these conferences. And some conferences have one rate and you can do everything. And then other conferences it's more a la carte. So whatever you choose to do is going to come with a different price. So think about, how does the content and focus of this event match up with my business and my in-person event goals? Next is networking opportunities. Who else is going to be in the room? And are the people that you want to connect with going to be in the room? So typically at a retreat, you're going to get people just like you, right? You're going to get crafters. You may get a couple of, people that you know from Instagram, but typically it's going to be, well, if it's a crafting retreat, it's going to be crafters, people who want to craft. If it's a business crochet retreat, then you're going to get business owners, and it's going to be a smaller group of maybe people you've met on Instagram or people you don't know. Other networking opportunities at conferences are likely going to be people who are at least building their business and making enough money to pay to go to a conference. They're going to be likely sponsors or vendors that you can connect with. There's going to be likely allied businesses that you can connect with. So not just crochet. Sorry, I keep saying just. Not only crochet business owners, but allied businesses like some yarn companies, some tech editors, some virtual assistants, maybe some photographers, those kinds of things. Those are people who are coming to the event because they know that their target audience is going to be there and you're their target audience. So you might be able to connect and network with those people at a conference, and you'll have an opportunity to do that in a more intimate way at a smaller conference rather than a larger conference. However, at a larger conference, you're going to likely get to meet whoever you want to meet. Like if you say, I want to meet X yarn company, they're likely going to be there. If you want to connect with a particular designer, you can see if they're hosting a meet and greet or if they're teaching a class or those kinds of things. So there's going to be local yarn stores at this trade show, H&H. There's going to be local yarn stores, yarn manufacturers, hook manufacturers. There's going to be quilting manufacturers, sewing machine manufacturers, all kinds of like really large businesses that are coming in to sell to local yarn stores. It's typically a business to business type event where businesses are coming in to connect with other businesses and make those kinds of large scale sales to get them through the rest of the year, is my guess. I haven't been to H&H yet, but anyway, so networking opportunities. Next, sessions and workshops. What kinds of sessions, what kind of workshops are they hosting? Are they going to meet your needs? Go ahead and look on the website of these events to see what their schedule looks like, what they're going to be talking about, if those sessions meet the needs that you have for your business. Then exhibitors and products. Retreats typically aren't going to have exhibitors per se, like people setting up booths to, show you things or to connect with people. So this typically won't relate to retreats. Conferences likely will have a small group of vendors. We're going to have a space for about 30 vendors. I don't know if we're going to get it filled up because it's a small conference, so it has to be worth it to them. And if they're thinking, well, there's going to be 100 customers there, is it worth it to me to bring my stuff, to set up, to pay the booth fee, to stay overnight, all of that stuff? So we need to find people who are specifically niched to our audience, who are selling things that will make it worth their while to be there. So we won't have thousands of exhibitors. Well, nobody's going to have thousands, but I know at H&H last year they had 243 exhibitors, and they've expanded this year to even more. I know my booth number is 734. I don't know if that means that there's that many exhibitors. That would be crazy. But yeah, so think about, am I there to do some shopping? Am I there to connect with exhibitors? If so, then the number of exhibitors is going to be important to me. So there will be probably none at retreats, a few at conferences, and then a large amount at trade shows, because that's what trade shows are for, right? What is the atmosphere? What's my experience going to be like? What's it going to feel like when I walk in the room? Well, in a retreat, probably you're going to get squeals of delight when you walk in the room. People are going to recognize you from Instagram or from your shop, and it might be that it's a room full of your friends. So that's always a good feeling. Similarly, with a conference, it will feel a little bit like that. At our conference, we're having 100 people, and like I said, Craftcation, they're going to have a few hundred people. So it really depends. At a niche conference, of course, it's going to be more people who are exactly in the place that you are, in your same crochet talk or crochet Insta people, or at a more general conference, it's going to be online business owners, online crafters. So they may or may not know you, they may or may not squeal, but it will be more intimate at a conference than it is it'll be more intimate at a smaller conference than it is at a larger conference. And so walking into a room, being able to see friendly faces, if that's important to you, if it's important to you to connect with someone really quickly, then a smaller conference would probably be better. Of course, there's going to be a lot more people at a larger conference, and you may walk into and bump into somebody pretty quickly, or you may be walking around for a little bit and not be bumping into somebody. So it's kind of a toss-up there. But what kind of experience do you want? Do you like a large crowd? Do you like lots of energy? Do you like, I don't know. I've been to conferences with like, what is that? When they have pyrotechnics and sound systems and lighting. Or do you want it to be like a small stage where the person is right there and they're talking right to you and they can see your eyes? Whatever you enjoy, look for events that have that. Next, what is the event's mission? What impact are they trying to create for their attendees? Typically, retreats are going to be about the impact is to refresh, to restore, to relax, to learn, to connect, right? So it's going to be a little bit more chill. Conferences, depending on the conference, conferences are going to have different missions. So our missions are connection, learning, growing your visibility, increasing profits, and strategizing the freedom that you wanted to have in your business when you started in the first place. So that's what our mission is. And you can check on the websites of various events that you want to go to see what their mission is so that you know what's the transformation. I'm going to go in feeling like this, tired, overwhelmed. I don't know what steps to take next. And then I'm going to walk away feeling energized, motivated, inspired, connected, seen, heard, action taking, excited, whatever it is that you want to feel, see if that's what the mission of that conference is about. And those are the things that I wanted you to take a look at. So target audience size, content and focus, networking opportunities, sessions and workshops, exhibitors and products, and the atmosphere and experience, and the impact on attendees. There might be some cons that we need to look at as well. And I did create a table for you that you should be able to access the link in the description of this video, or in the show notes for the podcast. Just click on the link. You don't have to opt in. It'll just take you to the PDF that you can download of a table of retreats, conferences, trade shows, kind of what each of those things is about, and then maybe some cons that you need to think about. So we're going to go look at that. And in the meantime, I want you to consider, have you ever been to one of these events and what was your experience? Because when we come back, I'm going to open up the floor to you and see if you have anything to share about that. But in the meantime, for those of you listening on the podcast, go ahead and go into the show notes and download this, and you can listen along as I talk about it. Otherwise, I'll try and talk through it so that you can visualize it. So here is the table that I have for you. And I'm going to increase the size a little bit so I can see it. And it says, which room is for you? And then it shows retreats and festivals. I did put festivals on this. Conferences, trade shows. So, and then down the left side, it says target audience, content focus, networking opportunities, all those things we talked about. So it shares all of the details inside of the content here. And there are a couple of things that I added on to this table that we haven't talked about yet, which would be ideal audience. What stage of business is the audience in? What are their traits? What are their goals? And maybe what are the cons of attending this kind of event? So we're going to go through these really quickly. And I'm just going to start with retreats. And I'm just going to read what the table says. So retreats. So the audience will be typically enthusiasts and professionals looking for relaxation and skill development. So they may be learning a new skill in crochet or a new crafting skill. Their stage in business will be intermediate. They're focusing on refining their skills. So their traits that they have are they value personal growth, skill development, and they enjoy community. And their goals for attending are improving techniques, relaxation, and community bonding. And the cons of going to retreats would be limited networking scope, less focus on business development. So it's really more for, I want to chill and maybe I'll learn a couple of things, but really I just want to chill and hang out with people. And so the next one is conferences. So for conferences, the ideal audience is entrepreneurs and business owners at various stages, whether you're a newbie, whether you're you're an intermediate business owner, or you're someone who is in the process of scaling. Conferences are good for all of those people. The stage in business is ranging from startup to expanding, scaling businesses. Traits are business-minded, entrepreneurial, and networking focused. So this is definitely a different mindset than the retreat goers. The people going to conferences are definitely focused on the growth of their business. They're more driven, and they're going to the conference to network with people, to maybe make collaborations, to connect with businesses where they can do things together. Their goals for attending are learning new business strategies, networking, and focusing on industry trends. So the cons of conferences are that they can be overwhelming. They're mainly focused on business aspects, so there won't be a lot of chill, though we have scheduled in some chill time into our conference. We're going to be having, if we can swing it, a movie night, and we're going to be having a sip and stitch and game night. So we are going to have some time to sit and relax and hang out together. And the conference is less hands-on. So the way that we've combated that con is to actually institute implementation time in all of our sessions. So as our instructors teach, they're going to teach for 45 minutes and then have a 15-minute implementation time where you can start to make progress on whatever it is that you've learned. So you don't walk away feeling overwhelmed and like, where do I start with this thing? It's already started, and you can just carry on when you get back at home to your office. Okay, and finally, trade shows. The ideal audience is professionals and businesses looking for expansion and networking. So typically trade shows are going to be people looking to connect with manufacturers. They're going to be local yarn stores looking to connect with distributors and other sorts of professionals. So the stage in business is all stages, especially beneficial to established businesses looking for growth. So this is typically people who are looking to scale. And traits are dynamic, trend conscious, and open to opportunities. And their goals for attending are networking, staying up to date with trends, and exploring new products. A lot of these businesses that are coming to the exhibition hall will be launching new products at the exhibition hall. So we'll be launching the Crochet Professionals Network at the Crochet Business Summit, but we'll be then, relaunching it as we go to H&H Americas, and we'll have a wider audience there. We'll be launching our new network for crochet professionals. And then the downside, the cons of trade shows is they can be overwhelming due to the size. They're less focused on individual business needs, and they're more commercial. So it's going to be less intimate. However, they do have a lot of small group sessions. They do have small breakout sessions, master classes. They're going to have a content creators summit, content creators something. They're going to have a lot of things going on there that you could just stay in a small group rather than get overwhelmed by the large size. So you may be saying, how do I find these places? How do I know what's coming up? Well, I did go through my inbox to see the emails that I've gotten recently about some events that are coming up. And so on this same PDF that you can download, I have included some of those events. So there's Craftcation coming up April 3rd through 7th of 2024. Then there's the Increased Crochet Business Summit. That's mine. I want you there. Go there. Go get your ticket today. In Aurora, Colorado, April 10th through 12th. I do know that the Interweave Fiber Festival in Lakewood, Colorado, which is just north of Aurora, is going to be starting on the 12th. I believe it's the 12th through the 14th. So you can piggyback that onto the back of your visit to Colorado if you want to do that. I didn't put it on this list, but you might want to check that out. And then Making More, which is a pre-conference event right before H&H Americas. It's on April 30th. I will be there as well, helping out with the Making More workshop. It's being put on by the Fiber Biz Collective, and that should be a good time. It's a one-day. You pick from one of 4 workshops, and then there'll be some small group sessions as well. And then the H&H Americas trade show, which is basically April 30th through May 3rd. They say it's May 1st through 3rd, but actually the events are starting on April 30th. So if you're going, I would plan for those 5 days. Is it 5? 4 or 5 days? 4 or 5 days. Again, I will be there. I will be in the exhibit hall in booth 734. So come look for me. I will love to connect with you, answer any questions that you have, and talk to you about the Crochetpreneur Business Academy or the Crochet Professionals Network. And then also there's the Chain Space Retreat was just announced that's being hosted by the Crochet Guild of America. That is July 25th through the 28th, and that will be in Avon, Connecticut. It is a 4-day event with, let's see, it includes lodging, breakfast and lunches, 3 classes, and then a field trip to America's Yarn Store. So it's going to be a fun, relaxing time. And then there is, on the other end of the spectrum, a crochet adventure in England with Tamara Kelly. So Tamara Kelly from Moogly Blog is hosting a trip to England October 4th through the 12th. And you can go with her. It's basically it's run by a business called Craft Tours. And it includes airfare, first class accommodations, workshops. They're going to visit the London Knitting and Stitching Show and lots of sightseeing trips to various sites throughout England. So those are the things on my list. I'm sure you can find more by Googling crochet retreats, crochet conferences, trade shows, or crafting retreats, those kinds of things. You can find all of those. But again, you can get this this table and that list of conferences by clicking the link in the description or in the show notes. So you can get your hands on that. And all right. So lastly, have you ever been to any in-person conferences, and what was your experience? I would love to hear your own experience to hear how you liked it. Let's see. Susie said, I'm excited about the balance you're working to create for us at Increase. Yay! Thank you. I am trying to make it a balance so that everyone feels comfortable, and I really want it to be an intimate time. I want to get to know everyone there, and I want everyone there to be able to get time with the speakers if there's someone there that they want to connect with and learn from on a deeper level. I want them to be able to do that. So that's fun. I will say, let's see, what was the last conference? I can't even remember the last conference I went to. Oh yes, I can. So I did go to the Interweave Fiber Festival in Lakewood. I believe it was last year. I think it was last year. And I had a booth there, and it was really fun to meet a lot of people. I learned that fiber festivals aren't the place for talking about business. Everyone just wanted to talk about yarn, which is great. And that's what a fiber festival is for. So I did learn a lesson. I'm not going to pay for another booth at one of those fiber festivals. However, I would likely go as a visitor just to connect with the business owners that are there. Before that, I would attend lots of blogging conferences, and those were very, very stimulating, very fun. Learned lots of things. It was great. So I don't see anyone sharing their experiences, but if you have been, if you're watching or listening to this, leave a comment and let me know what has been your experience at retreats, conferences, trade shows. I know I talked to someone who went to H&H Americas last year. She'll be back again this year, as I know many people have and are. This is our first year with an in-person conference, so I don't have any testimonials to share with you about what that's going to be like, but we're working really hard to make it a really great experience and a really valuable experience for you and your business. I know sometimes the price of these events can feel overwhelming. I will let you know that your lodging and your meals, breakfast and lunches for Thursday and Friday are included with our tickets, so that you don't have to consider those extra costs of lodging and things like that. with your ticket. So that's a big benefit. And you get to stay in the venue with all of the other conference members. So meeting people down in the lobby, if you're the kind of person who is just like, hey, I'm going to go sit in the lobby and crochet, you're going to make friends. So yeah. Oh yeah, and the last one I went to was our Maker Life in July. That's where I got to hang out with Susie. So that was really fun, and that was a one-day event. They had a couple of speakers and a couple of Lion Brand We Crochet and Jimmy Bean's Wool were there, and that was really fun. Okay, so Susie said, I've been to a few conferences. Sometimes I felt totally at home and at ease, and other times like a total outsider. I think it depends on how immersed and familiar I am with the community vibe. Yeah. And I think that's important. To me, that's the most important thing. I did go to a craft conference called Snap that they're no longer doing any longer in Utah, and I went by myself. There were a couple other crochet business owners there, but they didn't know me. It was like the beginning of my business, and I'm really not great about making connections with people in person. So it was difficult. I spent a lot of time in my very luxurious hotel room. So, but I did make some connections with manufacturers, particularly with plaid crafts. They were great. So that was good, but it was a beautiful venue. There was lots of different crafters there, a lot of different bloggers there, but I didn't know anybody ahead of time, and it kind of made it harder. What we're doing to combat that, I'll just let you know at, hang on, I'm making this banner go away. What we're doing to combat that at the Increase Crochet Business Summit is we're going to, here pretty soon, assign our attendees to small groups ahead of time so that they can have a small group Facebook group and connect in there and get to know each other, so that if they don't know anyone else at the conference, when they walk into that room, they'll be able to know the people in their small group, and they'll be able to connect with them there. They'll already have said, hey, this is who I am. This is my business. Do you want to meet up for coffee? Or let's get on a Zoom call and get to know each other before we get to the conference. And that way you will feel more comfortable if you're introverted like me, or even if you're not, even if you just don't like going into places where you don't know people. This will kind of ease that anxiety for you, because we want you to feel comfortable and welcomed and seen and not left out when you come to our conference. So Susie said OML was nice, but their Facebook group wasn't active and it was hard to feel connected, except with me. Nice. We're already connected inside of Crochetpreneur Business Academy, so that worked out really well. Okay. Don't forget to grab your spreadsheet and your list of events. And I think that's it for today. I will be back next week with a new topic. We'll see what it is. And if you have any questions about the Crochet Business Summit, I will leave links for you. I need to go back into the descriptions and leave links for you so that you find the links to register for the Crochet Business Summit coming up April 10th through 12th. And I can't wait to see you there. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.